They say you're the fastest dryer in the West, but can you hitch a snubbing post, flapjack a Fraggle, or even dry dust a clacking box? That's what I thought. Now draw.
Got some loose cables at your battle station? A hairdryer can help bring up the slack, giving you a clean, coiled look at your workspace. First, get a small rod or even a pencil or pen to wrap your cable around. Clamp one end to the base of the rod to hold it in place. Now here's the tricky part. Pull the cable very tight and loop it around and around the rod. This will remove all the slack and start to form your coil. Once you've reached the end, clamp the top part of the cable to the rod as well. It's time to bust out your hair drying apparatus. Set it to high heat and click it on. Upside, downside, inside and outside, hitting it from every angle so there's no doubt that the cable will take on its new curly form. Let everything cool down for about 10 minutes and slide it right off the roasting rod. If you did it right, you should have a beautifully coiled cable that's ready to charge up your phone and impress your cats. Selling off some of your prized items on eBay? It's always best to protect the product with a nice layer of shrink wrap, but who's got a shrink wrap machine just sitting around? Try this instead. Bust out your finest saran wrap and pull out a length that will cover your item entirely with a little bit of slack left over. Place your item right in the center and fold the pieces over to get a light seal in place. If you leave it as is, it'll probably fall apart during shipping. So let's seal in the flavor with some heat. Grab your trusty hairdryer and put the settings on high heat with a low airflow. Carefully work your way around the frayed edges until they reach their heat threshold and start to bond and melt together. This can take a bit of time since saran wrap is fairly heat resistant, but eventually you'll end up with a nice pseudo shrink wrap product that's ready to ship and receive A+ would buy from again ratings across the entire internet. At first glance, this one may seem a little odd, but with a few modifications, you can turn your hairdryer into a mini vacuum that's perfect for cleaning up your micro messes. To pull this off, you'll need a hairdryer and an empty soda bottle. If it's not empty, just throw it down the hatch. Now get a sharp blade and carefully cut the top of the bottle off. You can use scissors, a box cutter, or anything that will allow some precision cutting. Most vacuums have some sort of filter to prevent dust and other material from firing out the exhaust port. We don't need anything so fancy. Just a paper towel. Place it over the back of your hairdryer and press the bottle top right over it. Once you're holding it firmly in place, tear away all the excess paper towel and then seal the entire bottle up with some duct tape. Make sure there's no gaps anywhere so you can obtain maximum suction. When you're all done, should look a little something like this. Alright, let's test this bad boy out with an improvised pepper shaker spill. When we click the hairdryer on, it makes quick work of the pepper, catching everything inside the small chamber while the paper towel prevents anything from firing out. Keep in mind you could always make a larger chamber for bigger jobs, but this little trick is great for hitting those nitty-gritty spots around the home or in your car. Now, what about using your hairdryer for one of its more intended purposes, to blast air? If you've got a gnarly looking keyboard that's due for a little bit more than a spot cleaning, try this out. Grab that bottle top you just made and hold it over the end of the dryer, or if you want more air pressure, get yourself a plastic funnel. That's what we'll be using. There's no need to tape this thing on, just hold it in place and take aim at the target. This keyboard is a disaster of dirt, grime, and for some unknown reason, candy wrappers. The pressurized nozzle will make quick work of all this stuff by blasting it into oblivion. Just direct the nozzle wherever it's needed until your clacking box is dirt-free. Finish everything up with a nice swipe from a sanitized wipe. Just because the crud is gone doesn't mean you shouldn't purge the germs as well. When you're done, you'll have a nice sparkling clean keyboard that's ready to get gummed up again during your next World of Warcraft raid. You can turn your hair dryer into an automatic hand dryer, and all you need is a motion sensor plug. These things are typically made for lights and only cost a few bucks at Walmart. Before you go to plug it in, you'll need to adjust how long it's going to stay powered on. Ours says 1 minute here, but if you turn it even further back, it'll go a little bit less. You also need to limit the range of the sensor, otherwise your hair dryer will be turning on whenever someone walks by. Just a simple piece of paper will do here. Cover the top and sides, leaving only the bottom visible so that it can see any movement that goes under it. You may have to adjust this a few times to get it just right, so be patient. Find an outlet near your hand washing station and plug your motion outlet in. Attach the hairdryer plug into the socket and then put your hairdryer in a mount right next to it. Now when you're washing your hands and go to dry them, the hairdryer will click on automatically when you run your hand under the sensor. Just dry your hands as usual with whatever preferred heat setting you want. When you're done, exit the room and the dryer will shut off seconds later. Awesome. No more nasty hand towels for you. So there you go, 5 simple and effective uses for your dormant hairdryer. There's tons of other cool ways that you can use these things. In fact, we already made a video about it. So click right here and you can check it out now. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit subscribe and ring that bell because we want to see you back here next time. Take care.